So hi everybody, today I thought I will quickly give you an update on the now available 4.0 firmware for the RamTester. And you can see one of the features that has been included is if you dial in an invalid number of dip switches that are active, you will get a QR code that leads you to the GitHub documentation. Another feature is if all the switches are 0 and we reset, we get into a self-test mode. So at first it will automatically test some stuff, like the pull-up resistors for the dip switches. Then it checks for shorts, and if it doesn't find any shorts, then we need a jumper cable, which we put into pin 20 as indicated here. And with the other end, we just switch through all the other connections we have here, and always if you touch you will get a red light. One I already touched, so we will skip this one. And we just go through all the contacts, and if all is well, we get a green light and we have a self-test okay. So we are sure that our circuit is actually working as it should. Then one other thing that has been incorporated is CAS before RAS refresh testing. As you can see in this diagram, this is the whole cycle of a 41 to 56 RAM. We can see it starts at time code 0, then there is a gap, that's the display setup. So always if I reset the display, it needs some time to publish the initial display content. Then it starts testing. At first it starts with the zeros, then with the indicator 1 you can see that there is ones. Then it starts fluctuating the data in and as well the data out for part 2, which is the patterns 2 and 3 that are alternating. Then at the indicator number 3 we start the random data tests, and in this part also we test the retention time. And then for number 4 is the same test as number 3, but the data has been inverted, so all the cells are really tested for ones and zeros. And then at the really end, you can see in part number 5, really short part, is this so-called CBR test. That's the retention counter or the refresh counter. So we do every 15.625 microseconds, that's exact value, microseconds. We issue one of those refreshes, and then the counter will automatically count up the rows and refresh row by row. And so in this time between number 5 and number 6 at the end, we test that this counter is actually counting through all the rows and refreshing all the content. And then it's back read. You can see the little yellow box at the bottom end. That's the back read of the data that was written before. And then during 10 cycles, we test this and check that it's okay. And then again, there is a gap. That's again the display, refresh, and then the test is finally over at indicator number 7. So you can see for this type of RAM, the 41256, it's a bit more than 12 seconds to test it completely. And from then, for everybody who hasn't seen the adapter working yet, so that's the adapter for the 4116 that also needs -5 and +12 volts. I just put it in. It doesn't have power because I need to dial in at 20 pin. I can see power comes on. We reset, then you can see it's found 4116, and the test is rather fast because this is not a really big RAM. And for safety reasons, I can also show you here that it's completely safe. It has built-in fuses, it limits the current. You can short circuit like the -5 volts. You can see the indicator goes off, or the +12 volts, and then the other one goes off. And the current is limited, so if you have a 4116 RAM that is broken, you won't fry your RamTester. And hopefully now everything is running again. So that's firmware 4.0. That's available for download on GitHub.